When Ava told her best friend Brady that I had a $500,000 monthly allowance, something in him shifted. At first, I didn't think much of it. I got a hard part haircut, clean, sharp, a little old school, and the next week, Brady showed up with the exact same cut. I brushed it off. Then I noticed the tattoo. Not just any tattoo, my tattoo. The one I had custom designed. Brady had taken a photo of it and dragged it around to 20 different tattoo shops just to get an exact replica. I wore luxury brands like they were second skin. Brady? He skipped class, starved himself for days, worked 5 jobs in one day, just to afford the same Balenciaga jacket. I thought he was just obsessed. Some people are like that, imitators, clingers, attention parasites. But I had no idea how deep it ran. 1 month later, I was diagnosed with a terminal illness. No warning. No time. I died fast. As my vision faded to black, I waited, desperate, for the faces I loved. My family. Ava. But they never came. Instead, I heard my mother's voice. She was stroking someone's hair. She whispered the nickname that only I had ever been called. Brady. He was in my room. Wearing my clothes. Holding Ava in his arms like she was his. And then he said it. Smug. Triumphant. Terrifying. Thanks, Ava. If you hadn't funded me, I never would have had the money to mimic him. To use the system and steal his luck. Now everything that was his, is mine. That was it. That was the glitch. The twist in reality. His system. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in my body, back in time. The exact moment Brady was about to get his hair cut to match mine. Click. Flash. The shutter of a phone camera went off. Brady's face turned pale. He scrambled to hide his phone, the guilt written all over him. This time, I wasn't dying. This time, I wasn't giving anything away. This time, I'd burn the whole script down. Miles leaned in and whispered in my ear, his voice low but tense. Evan, you want me to check if he's secretly filming you? I swear, I've seen him holding his phone up at you way too often. He's like a damn stalker. It's getting creepy. I'm seriously about to lose it. I shook my head, silently signaling him to let it go. Last time, last life, I let that feeling of being violated get to me. I confronted Brady. Demanded he hand over his phone. Insisted he show me what he'd been recording. But his gallery was empty. Wiped clean. Instead of exposing him, I got slapped with a disciplinary warning for bullying a classmate. That night, though, he walked in with freshly cut hair, straightened, parted, and dyed. Identical to mine. Not one detail off. He'd copied my hard part haircut exactly. From that moment on, he started getting mistaken for me by my own friends. All it took was a glimpse of his back and they'd call out, "Yo, Evan." But it wasn't me. That damn system of his, it wasn't just copying my look. It was syncing his fate to mine. Mimicking my luck. My life. I wasn't going to let it happen again. I pulled out my phone and texted Carl, my private barber and one of the best stylists in the city. I'm done with the hard part cut. I need something impossible to replicate. Think experimental, high difficulty. I'll double your fee. He replied within minutes, buzzing with enthusiasm. Then came a photo. 8 stylists, all gathered around a sketchpad, deep in discussion, designing a hairstyle just for me. A style so intricate, no one could copy it. Especially not Brady. I smiled and clicked my phone screen off. Then I turned to Miles. Come with me later, let's get haircuts together. Call Zane too. Just tell him it's on me. Miles grinned. Sure thing. But we're not letting you foot everything. Dinner's on me and Zane tonight, alright? I was just about to reply when that shrill, unmistakable voice cut in behind us. Where are you guys going for dinner? Why didn't you invite me? Brady's tone was high-pitched, grating. We're in the same dorm. Why are you excluding me, huh? Evan, is it because I'm not rich like you? You think you're better than me? His voice carried across the classroom like a siren. Heads turned. Conversation stopped. And just like that, he put on a different face, one of the pitiful, mistreated outsider. His expression softened into something vulnerable, almost trembling. I know you guys all come from good families. You're locals. I'm just some kid from a tiny town. But I'm really trying, man. I just want to be friends. Friends. Get along. That's what he always said, right before conveniently forgetting his wallet. Every time we went out to eat, he'd find a reason not to pay. Said he was broke. That he didn't want to talk about his tragic past again. That we were lucky we didn't grow up like he did. If we pressed, he'd double down, tell us he had no support, no family money, that he was just scraping by. Eventually, it wore thin. And one by one, we started leaving him out. Not because we were cruel. Because he'd already made us feel used. I was just about to pull out the receipts, to shut Brady down for good, when Ava burst forward, cutting me off before I could speak. Evan. How many times do I have to tell you, she snapped, her voice loud enough to echo. I hate domineering guys. Just because your family has some dirty money doesn't give you the right to bully people. She turned to the crowd now, her voice rising with conviction. Brady may not be rich, but he's better than all of you spoiled trust fund babies combined. He's from a small town, and he still made it to this elite school. Do any of you even realize how hard he's worked? Dirty money. The words dropped like acid. And the way she stood there, chest out, chin raised, defending Brady like he was some underdog hero, made my stomach turn. She had no idea. If it weren't for my family's money, she'd still be stuck in that backwater town she came from. If I hadn't asked my parents to boost her stipend, if I hadn't bought her luxury bags, shoes, spa packages, she never would have been able to sell herself as some polished, well-bred socialite. But Ava never showed gratitude. She resented what I gave her. She loathed the stink of my wealth. Worse, she knew what Brady was doing. She knew he was trying to replace me, inch by inch. And she still used our money to help him do it. I couldn't erase the image from my last life, her curled up in Brady's arms like it was where she'd always belonged. No more. I pulled out my phone and texted my parents. Effective immediately, stop all financial support for Ava. Let her and Brady figure things out on their own now. Two schemers. Two opportunists. Let them hustle together. They'd make a perfect pair of part-time lovers scraping by in the shadows. Seeing me still on my phone, Ava's anger spiked. Evan. Do you seriously not think you did anything wrong? I can't be with someone who's arrogant and unreasonable like you. If you really understand what you did, then apologize to Brady, and compensate him. Otherwise, I swear. Otherwise what? I didn't even look up. She thought I was panicking. Mistaking my calm for hesitation, she raised her voice even higher. If you don't apologize, I'll break up with you. A year ago, even just hearing those words, break up, would have been enough to make me cave. Because 2 years back, she'd pulled me out of a lake when I almost drowned. And since then, I'd treated that debt like a chain around my neck. I did everything she said. Let her steer my life. Let her walk all over me. Out of gratitude. Out of guilt. But that was before I died. Before I watched her use my family's money to help someone else take my place. Now, that version of me was dead and buried. Then break up with me, I said, without even blinking. I finally looked up from my phone and met her eyes. But if we're done, I added, my tone cool and flat, then let's really be done. You said I use money to control people. So clearly, you're not into guys with money, right? That means you won't have any problem returning what you took. Over the past few years, you've spent roughly $300,000 of my money. I'd like it back. That got her. Her eyes widened, just for a second. She hadn't expected that. She thought this was just another tantrum. Some dramatic play to win her back. A power move. Reverse psychology. She smiled faintly, convinced I was bluffing. But I wasn't. Not this time. Ava gave a little laugh and waved her hand, feigning confidence. Fine. You want the money? Take it. It's not like I need your money anyway. But Brady's expression darkened immediately. He couldn't let that slide, not when he still needed cash to keep mimicking me. Hell no, he snapped. Evan, what kind of man are you? Who the hell asks for their money back after dating someone? He stepped closer, puffing up his chest like he was making some righteous stand. Besides, it's not like Ava never spent money on you. Maybe she even spent more than you did. You think she owes you $300,000? Please. Sounds like you're just trying to squeeze her for more. Ava knew the truth. She knew exactly how much she'd ever spent on me, and it wasn't even close. Still, she kept up the act, voice sweet and eyes darting nervously. It's okay, really. Evan's my boyfriend. If he wants it back, I'll give it to him. It's just money. I don't mind. As she spoke, she glanced at me, sending me a familiar look, a silent plea to let it go. To protect her pride. To not say too much. In the past, I would have swallowed it. I would have spared her the embarrassment. Not anymore. I scrolled through my phone and pulled up the receipts. Let's see, I said casually. May 2023, you gave me a single rose. In August, a pair of silver earrings, which you wore yourself. October? A ceramic bowl. I looked up and locked eyes with her. 3 years of dating, and that's it. Total estimated value? Maybe $500, if we're being generous. Ava stiffened. Brady looked stunned. I kept going. Now, should I go ahead and read out the list of what I spent on you? Or would you rather I upload the full breakdown to the GroupMe thread and let everyone decide for themselves? I paused, let the moment hang. Whether you're a generous girlfriend, or just a gold digger in disguise. The color drained from her face. This time, there was no saving face. For a moment, Ava just stared at me, frozen, scanning my face for any sign of weakness. Then it hit her. I wasn't bluffing. I wasn't playing the old game anymore. Her expression hardened. She clenched her jaw, the air around her turning icy. Fine, she hissed. It's just 300 grand, right? I'll pay you back. She yanked out her phone with dramatic flair, opened her banking app, and started tapping furiously. Done. I've already transferred it. Don't ever talk to me again. But my phone stayed silent. No ping. No notification. No wire transfer. I didn't even need to check. Brady, though, bought the act. He leaned in anxiously. Wait, undo it. You didn't even negotiate. That's a massive loss. Panicking, he grabbed her phone, only to freeze when he saw the screen. The app hadn't sent anything. The page was still sitting there, untouched, waiting for verification. Ava, he stammered. It's asking for two-step verification. You didn't even enter the code, so the money, there's no way it went through. I couldn't help it. A sharp laugh broke from my throat. Ava's face flushed deep red. "Shut up," she snapped, whirling on him. She grabbed his arm, trying to drag him away. But I stepped in front of them, blocking the exit, my voice sharp enough to slice through steel. "Ava, if you're going to pay, pay. Don't perform." I looked her dead in the eye. "Not a single cent hit my account. You think I'm stupid? You love talking about how you hate my money. But you sure don't mind spending it, do you?" Her face fell. This time, there was nowhere to hide. Before either of them could spin another lie, I raised my phone and held it up for the entire class to see. My banking app was open, my account balance front and center. "Take a good look," I said calmly. "No wire transfer. No record. Nothing." Ava clearly hadn't expected I'd call her bluff in front of everyone. Her face tightened, jaw clenched like she'd swallowed glass. "That's just a system delay," she snapped. "Fine, I'll do it again. Right now." This time, she had no choice. Her hands trembled as she typed in the verification code. The transfer went through. And a few minutes later, my phone buzzed. "Payment received." Her eyes twitched at the corners. Painful as hell for her to part with that money, but she still tried to hold on to her pride. "There. See? I don't care about the money," she said through gritted teeth. "I can buy whatever I want. I'm not hurting." I nodded slowly, eyes still locked on my screen, watching the updated balance. "Good," I said, voice cold as stone. "Payment received. Relationship over." I looked up at her, dead serious. "From this moment on, we're finished. No strings. No ties. We're done." I turned to leave, motioning for Miles to follow me. But before we could get 3 steps away, Ava grabbed my wrist. "You still haven't apologized to Brady for excluding him," she barked. "None of you are leaving until you do." That actually made me pause, for a different reason. She'd reminded me of something important. Brady had smeared me in front of the whole class, painting himself as the victim, making me look like a rich bully. But I had something he didn't count on: evidence. Thanks to all those dinners I used to host in our family's private restaurant suites. I knew for a fact there were surveillance cameras. And they'd recorded everything. After a quick call to my restaurant manager, I sent the surveillance footage straight into the class GroupMe. It was a clip from one of our old dinners, just the 4 of us, me, Miles, Zane, and Brady. I captioned it plainly. "Why didn't we include him? Watch the footage." Then I pocketed my phone and walked out with Miles. By the time we reached the barbershop, the group chat had exploded. OMG. Did he really say that just to dodge paying? Who brags about being broke like it's a flex? Forget Evan, if I ever ran into someone like Brady, I'd avoid him like the plague. Brady panicked. He tried damage control, dropping a sad emoji, typing out that I'd always had it out for him, that the video must have been edited. But nobody bought it. People weren't stupid. Desperate, he started spamming my phone. Message after message. Then came Ava. Her tone? Not regret. Not shame. Just outrage. "Evan, I'm so disappointed in you. All this over a little misunderstanding? Was it really necessary to humiliate Brady like that? You've hurt him deeply. You need to apologize, return the $300,000, and send him an additional $100,000 as compensation. If you don't, I'll never forgive you. And we're never getting back together." I stared at the messages, one after another. Dumbfounded. She really thought I was some walking ATM. Like breaking my heart and draining my wallet were 2 sides of the same coin. It was so absurd, I laughed out loud. The avalanche hit all at once. Brady and Ava's shameless messages had already pushed me to the edge. But then, something else surfaced. A memory. In my last life, people used to ask Brady how he suddenly had money for designer clothes, a personal trainer, fancy haircuts. He always said the same thing, "Oh, just working a few side gigs." And I believed him. Right up until the moment before I died, when I overheard him and Ava laughing about how easy it had been to bleed me dry. He mocked me for being born lucky. All while leeching off that same luck without an ounce of guilt. Disgusted, I shot Brady a single-word reply. Get lost. I was about to block Ava when my phone buzzed again. A new notification. Joint credit card alert, hair salon charge, $217.80. I froze. The rage hit so hard my hand started to shake. I opened the app. Scrolled through the transaction history. One by one, the entries flashed by. Boxers. Condoms. Hotel rooms. Dates. Dinners. Uber rides. The earliest charge? March. 2 years ago. I couldn't breathe. They'd been doing this behind my back for years. I didn't wait. I screenshotted the charges and dumped it straight into GroupMe, tagging Ava. At Ava Real Classy. Using my credit card to keep your side piece in style? Before she could even respond, I tagged Brady. At Brady, how's it feel? You like spending my money while sleeping with my girlfriend? You two were made for each other. I didn't stop there. I immediately unlinked Ava from the joint card, then called every store, salon, and club that had ever had access to my account. From now on, I told them, if it's not me in person, the card is not authorized. No exceptions. Let them try now. The ATM just cut them off. Back at the salon, Ava had just swiped my card to cover the first round of Brady's hair treatment, his custom perm, when something unexpected happened. Transaction declined. She frowned, tried again. Declined. She bit her lip, wiped her thumb, and swiped a third time. Nothing. Panicked, she pulled out her phone and started frantically refreshing the banking app, logging in again and again like that would change anything. Behind the counter, the stylist's expression began to shift, from patient to suspicious. Her voice turned cold. Ma'am, if the card's not working, we'll need another form of payment. This isn't a free trial. Brady stood beside her, arms crossed, clearly annoyed. Ava, what the hell are you doing? He snapped. Hurry up and pay. You're embarrassing me. I swear, once this is done, I'll make it worth your while. Ava's pride flared, but her options had run out. With a clenched jaw, she reached into her own purse and reluctantly handed over her personal card. She knew exactly how little was left in that account, but she didn't have a choice. Approved. A soft chime echoed. The damage, $2,000. She blinked at the total and screamed, $2,000? Brady, what the hell did you even do? Were you scammed? The stylist barely looked up as she slid the receipt across the counter. This is a premium salon, she said coolly. We serve high-end clientele. That's only the base price. Full service? That'll be $4,000 total. If that's too expensive, maybe you're in the wrong place. Ava's face drained of color. Then flushed red. Then white again. The humiliation settled like dust on her shoulders, public, undeniable, brutal. And then, her phone buzzed. She opened GroupMe. Saw the screenshots. The tags. The truth. The blood drained from her face. At Ava Real Classy. Using my credit card to keep your side piece in style? At Brady, how's it feel? You like spending my money while sleeping with my girlfriend? You two were made for each other. Her hand shook. She hit call. No answer. Tried again. Call failed. She dialed over and over, but my number was dead to her now. Blocked. Cut off. The gravy train had crashed. And Ava had no idea how to crawl out from under the wreckage. Unaware of the chaos erupting elsewhere, I was completely absorbed in the chair at the salon. 6 hours later, I walked out a new man. My hair, slicked back with precision, gleamed under the overhead lights, tailored elegance with a sharp edge. Miles had gone full platinum blonde, his features now cutting and bright. Zane rocked a textured perm that gave him an effortless cool. We looked like we belonged in the pages of GQ. I caught my reflection in the mirror and nearly snapped a photo for Instagram. But something held me back. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of someone lurking behind a screen, waiting to mimic my next move. So I let the moment pass. But the image of Brady seeing us tomorrow, trying to process it, trying to keep up, that alone made me grin the whole ride home. The next morning, just before class, I was walking through the hallway when I heard someone call out. "Yo, Evan." I turned instinctively, only to realize the voice hadn't been aimed at me. A few feet away, I saw Henry waving at someone else. Someone with a freshly permed head of hair, facing the other direction. It was Brady. He turned, flashing a smug smile. "Oh, I'm not Evan," he said with mock humility. "Guess we're just starting to look really alike, huh? You're not the first one to mistake us today." That smile. That smug, rehearsed wink of his. He thought he'd won something. My gaze sharpened. I didn't break stride as I walked straight up and cut him off mid-preen. "Look alike?" I said, my voice like frost. "Let's get something clear, my skin's not that rough. I'm taller than you. And my eyes? They're definitely not that small. Don't insult people's intelligence by pretending we're in the same league." Brady stiffened, his fake smile twitching. Henry, now seeing both of us side by side, laughed awkwardly. "Oh, yeah, now that I see Evan's new cut, man, you two don't look anything alike." Honestly, I only mistook him 'cause Brady was the only one in class with a hard part yesterday. Brady's face fell, just a fraction. But I caught it. The imitation game was cracking. And tomorrow? It'd shatter. Henry clapped a hand on my shoulder, grinning wide. "Dude, this new look? Unreal. Way cooler than your old one. You gotta give me the number for your stylist, I need to go there." More voices chimed in from the group around us. "For real. You're giving Beckham vibes. It's sick. This cut suits you so much better. Yeah, it's clearly custom. You can tell it's designed for you. If anyone tries to copy it now, they just look like a total creep." That last line hit hard. Brady's face turned beet red. He stomped his foot, frustrated and humiliated. "What the hell is that supposed to mean? You think I wanted to copy him? You think I enjoy looking like some spoiled rich kid? There's nothing about him worth copying." But his eyes betrayed him. They flicked toward my hair, sharp, styled, effortless, and he couldn't hide the jealousy. He sneered. "It's ugly anyway. That haircut doesn't even suit you. Makes your face look weird." I didn't flinch. Instead, I ran both hands through my hair with a grin and let it fall perfectly into place. "Maybe," I said coolly. "But I like it. That's what matters." I stepped past him, brushing against his shoulder like he wasn't even there. But Brady wasn't done. He chased after me, breathless, desperate. "Wait, Ava hates that haircut. She said she liked how you used to look. You should change it back." Then, his final, pathetic move. He physically dragged Ava over and shoved her into the conversation like a prop. "Right? Right, Ava? Tell him. You said you liked his old hair better, didn't you?" Ava looked at me, her eyes darting away almost instantly. Her ears turned crimson. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. She stood there trembling, like the words were stuck somewhere between her throat and her pride. I just watched. Calm. Silent. Because the silence said it all. Brady shoved me hard on the way into class. "You're insane," he snapped. "If you're sick, go get help." "Yeah? Then you better start therapy first," I shot back, brushing past him. We both headed into the classroom. During the break, Zane caught up with me by the lockers, his voice low and cautious. "Dude. I just overheard Brady on the phone in the bathroom. He booked a session with a tattoo artist this afternoon." I raised a brow. Zane leaned in closer. "And get this, he showed the artist your photo. The one you posted 2 days ago." I laughed under my breath. That little leech never stopped. Zane shook his head. "If I hadn't accidentally bumped into his phone screen, I wouldn't have seen it. He's seriously trying to copy your tattoo now." Instead of getting annoyed, the idea gave me pause. I opened my phone, scrolled to Brady's profile. I was ready to block him on everything. But then another idea hit me. Something way more fun. I smirked. "You know what? That's actually great. Makes me wonder, maybe it's time I change up my tattoo too?" Zane blinked. "Change what?" Before I could answer, Brady, who had clearly been eavesdropping, popped into the conversation, his tone fake casual but eyes scanning our faces like a hawk. "Wait, what do you mean, change? You're not thinking of changing your tattoo, are you?" We didn't respond. Which only made him more anxious. "I mean, I heard from people," he started, eyes darting, "that changing tattoos too often is really bad. Like, it can damage your skin. Pigment buildup, color retention issues. Cancer, even." I frowned slightly, pretending to absorb the fear. "Wait, it's that bad?" Brady's head bobbed eagerly. "Oh yeah. You should really stick with the one you have. Just to be safe." "Good to know." I turned and clapped Zane on the shoulder. "Guess we better stop messing around with new ink, huh?" Brady looked relieved. The tension in his shoulders dropped. His grin was creeping back. He thought he'd won. Again. Let him. As soon as class ended, Brady bolted, straight toward the tattoo parlor. I watched his back as he disappeared down the hallway, then casually reached into my bag and pulled out 2 sheets of temporary tattoo stickers. Zane took one, burst out laughing. "Dude. If he finds out you never actually got inked, that it was just a sticker the whole time, he's gonna lose his damn mind." I held a finger to my lips, smirking. "Shoo, don't ruin the reveal." Back at the dorm, I picked the boldest design, a famous soccer player mid-celebration, and carefully pressed it to my upper arm. It looked real. Clean lines. Dark ink. Convincing. Then I checked the time. Brady should have just finished getting his very real, very permanent tattoo. Perfect. I snapped a photo, just enough ink showing beneath the sleeve, and posted it to my stories. Couldn't help but wonder, what was going through his head, seeing I'd already moved on to a new design. I didn't have to wait long to find out. Brady called. I didn't answer. He called again. And again. By the 30th missed call, he finally gave up. But I wasn't done yet. Just to push him further over the edge, I rounded up the guys for dinner out. No phones. No texts. No explanations. I didn't return to the dorm until 10 p.m. The second I walked in, Brady lunged at me. He grabbed my arm, yanked up the sleeve, wild-eyed and frantic. His gaze locked on the new ink. Not the one from the post 2 days ago. Different design. Different placement. And very much intentional. His pupils shrank. His jaw twitched. You changed it," he hissed. "You just got a tattoo 2 days ago, and now you're changing it? What the hell is wrong with you? You rich or something? Got nothing better to do than waste money? I told you, too many tattoos mess up your skin. You don't listen, you never listen." His voice cracked. He was unraveling. I just looked down at his freshly bandaged arm, still red from the needle, and said nothing. Because the truth? He didn't need a response. The silence was enough to finish the job. Brady threw his hands up, shaking with frustration. "Do you have any idea what I went through to get this tattoo? It cost me $1,500. It hurt like hell. You can't just change yours like it's nothing. Don't you even think about how that makes me feel?" His eyes were wild now, manic. But I just shrugged, feigning innocent confusion. "Can't help it," I said coolly. "I get $500 a month for personal expenses. Too much cash. If I don't spend it, I get itchy." Brady's face turned a furious shade of purple. He lost it. "This isn't funny anymore," he yelled. "You're not being cool, you're just flaunting your money. You're wasting it. Thousands on tattoos, new hair every week, why don't you try donating for once? Help someone who actually needs it." His voice was shrill now, choking on rage. "You're a selfish piece of trash. If I were you, I'd disappear. People like you, your whole family, you're nothing but parasites. Your parents don't donate, they don't give back, they just feed your..." Smack. I didn't even hesitate. The moment he said that, dragged my parents into it, my palm cracked across his left cheek with sharp, echoing finality. He froze, stunned. But I wasn't done. Smack. Right across the other cheek. Harder. His head snapped sideways, breath caught in his throat. The room went still. My voice, when it came, was low. Clear. Sharp enough to cut bone. "You don't talk about my family. You don't get to mention their names. Ever." Brady stood trembling, hands clenched, lips trembling, eyes wet with rage, but he didn't say another word. Because he knew. He'd finally gone too far. I grabbed Brady by the jaw, my fingers digging into his skin, and slammed him against the doorframe. My voice was cold, every word razor sharp. "My family runs a foundation that helps thousands of people every year. What the hell have you done to talk about them like that? You think you're entitled to someone else's money? To someone else's life? You don't get to lecture anyone, Brady." His eyes widened at the fire in mine. He started to shake. His voice dropped. I was just saying it for your own good. I didn't mean anything by it." Scoffs echoed from the other side of the room. Miles muttered, "Yeah right." Zane rolled his eyes. "Dude can spend hours getting his hair permed, but as soon as someone else has money, suddenly it's a morality crisis? Hypocrite." Another roommate chimed in, sharp and loud. "People can spend their own money however the hell they want. You're not some financial god. Sit down." I released Brady with a shove, and he stumbled back, flushed, shaken, humiliated. But still, he couldn't stop himself. Didn't know when to quit. "You hit me," he spat. "You're gonna regret that. I'll tell Ava, she'll never talk to you again." I barked a laugh and turned away, grabbing my backpack. Perfect. I was hoping for that. Without another glance, I started packing up. I'd had enough. No more forced civility. No more dorm politics. No more second-guessing. Miles looked over. "You leaving?" "Yeah. Got a unit near campus. Done playing roommate with a sociopath." "I'm coming," he said without hesitation. Zane zipped his bag. "Count me in. I can't listen to his creepy rants for one more night." I used to stay in the dorms just for convenience. Early classes. Late-night soccer talks with the guys. Normal things. But now? I couldn't breathe in this place with Brady watching me. Before I left, I reached into my drawer and palmed a small listening device. Slipped it discreetly into the corner of Brady's cabinet. If he wanted to keep obsessing over me, let him do it while I listened in, quietly building a case for his unraveling. I hadn't even gotten a full block away before Brady exploded inside the dorm. A chair slammed against the wall, followed by the sound of his screeching voice. "Damn it! This is bullshit." He stomped around, out of control. My mimicry index dropped 20 points. It was at 20, the system said we were a perfect match. Now it's 10. If it hits 0, the system flags it as a failed assimilation, and I'll be penalized. System. Assimilation. Penalty. I narrowed my eyes, listening through the bug I just planted. Brady fumbled with his phone and dialed Ava. "Ava, please, you've got to help me. I need Evan back in the dorm. I have to see what he wears, what he buys. I have to observe him up close. I need that data to stay synced." Her voice slithered through the speaker, syrupy sweet. "Sure, Brady. I can do that, but what are you going to give me in return?" I didn't wait for the rest. Click. I cut the audio. I'd heard more than enough. Their flirtations didn't faze me anymore. They didn't sting. They just made me nauseous. But what did catch my attention, really catch it, was what Brady had said. So that was it. He wasn't just copying me out of obsession or insecurity. He had some twisted system judging his success by how accurately he could become me. And if his mimicry failed, the system punished him. So all I had to do, if I wanted to sever his hold on my life, was make the system fail him. Let it reject him. And then, finally, he'd lose. That idea lit a spark in my brain. A plan formed. Clean. Cruel. Precise. Miles and Zane had already gathered around, reading my expression like a countdown. When I laid out the idea, they didn't hesitate, they nodded, eyes gleaming. Just as we locked down the details, my phone rang. A random number. I picked up cautiously. Ava. But this wasn't the Ava from 2 days ago. Her tone was soft now. Sweet. Apologetic. "Evan. I've been thinking. About everything. I know I said some things I didn't mean. I just want to make it up to you. Can we talk?" She dropped every line I used to fall for. Words that used to twist me inside out. But now? They made my skin crawl. Still, I forced a smile into my voice. "Sure," I said. "Let's talk." Because this time, I wasn't playing the fool. This time, I was setting the board. When I got back to the dorm that evening, Brady's whole demeanor had changed. He was smiling. Calm. Careful. "Evan," he began, with a voice 2 shades too soft, about earlier. "I just wanted to say, I'm sorry." He even bowed his head slightly, putting on the role of the humbled underdog. "You know, I'm from a small town," he added quickly, like the excuse had been practiced. "Didn't grow up around money or refinement. I shouldn't have judged you. I was wrong to lecture you, seriously. I swear I'll do better. Will you forgive me?" I flicked at my nails, leaning back lazily. "Of course," I said, barely glancing up. "All good." He froze for half a beat, clearly not expecting me to agree so easily. Whatever speech he had lined up next died in his throat. He swallowed it, then pivoted fast. His eyes slid across the room, landing on the outfit I deliberately hung up in plain sight, a sleek, high-end streetwear set, full of quiet luxury. "That what you're wearing tomorrow?" he asked. I nodded casually. He furrowed his brow, hesitating like a dog waiting for permission to speak. I tilted my head. Something wrong? He looked concerned, too concerned. I mean, no offense, but I don't think that set really suits you. Honestly, I think this one. He pointed to a cheaper, off-brand soccer jersey I'd tossed aside weeks ago. This fits you way better. I glanced at the worn fabric, then back at him. He was trying so hard to act casual. But I could see it in his eyes, the calculation, the attempt to steer me, to control the data stream his system must be analyzing. I smiled. You know what? You're probably right, I said. Thanks for the suggestion. I'll wear that one tomorrow. Brady's shoulders relaxed. A flash of satisfaction crossed his face. Glad I could help, he said, trying to keep his grin from stretching too wide. And just like that, I'd fed the system its next mouthful of poison. The next morning, Brady couldn't hide his satisfaction. The moment he saw me actually wearing the cheap soccer jersey he'd recommended, his smile practically split his face. His lips twitched like he was holding back a laugh, but it kept slipping through. As we headed out together, he suddenly stopped and clutched his stomach. Ah, crap, stomach cramps. You guys go ahead, he said, wincing dramatically. Miles and Zane shot me a look. I gave the smallest nod. We walked away like nothing happened, then ducked into the corner of the building, out of sight. A few minutes later, as expected, Brady came out of the dorm. Wearing my exact outfit. Unbelievable, Zane muttered. What is he even trying to prove? Miles squinted. Seriously. The hair, the tattoo, now clothes? And this from the guy who used to cry about splitting a dinner bill? I couldn't tell them about the system. Not yet. I kept my voice low. Whatever it is, it's not good. Then I looked them over. Go swap outfits. Fast. They nodded and peeled off. Inside the classroom, Brady walked in like he owned the place, dressed in his shiny new copycat fit. He strolled over and said, loud enough for half the class to hear. Hey Evan, my outfit got dirty, so I had to throw on the same one as you. Hope you don't mind. I didn't even glance up from my notebook. Not at all, I said flatly. Wear whatever you want. He grinned wider. So if I kept wearing the same thing as you, like, all the time, you'd be cool with that too? I flipped a page. My voice was calm. Sure. Your body, your choice. That was all it took. Brady's lips curled upward into a victorious smirk. He thought he was getting closer. That his system was syncing again. That this mimicry was working. Good. Let him think that. The fall is always hardest from the peak. But the moment Brady looked up and saw Miles and Zane walking through the classroom door, his expression shattered. His grin vanished. His mouth twitched. His eyes darted between them like he'd just seen ghosts. His fingers shot out, trembling. You weren't wearing that earlier. When we left the dorm, you were in something else. Why the hell are you wearing that now? Miles and Zane exchanged a glance, barely suppressing their smirks. We spilled coffee, Miles said, deadpan. Had to change. Yeah, Zane added, spinning slowly on his heel. New outfit. Clean look. Matching Evan, how do we look? Miles struck a pose. We pull it off, right? Totally, Zane said. Honestly, I think this color's made for us. Brady's body visibly locked up. His arms stiffened. His shoulders hunched. Then, snap. You look ridiculous, he shouted, voice cracking. You can't just copy Evan. You don't get to do that. Only I can wear what he wears. Only I can mimic him. The classroom fell into stunned silence. Brady's face contorted, rage, panic, desperation. His fists clenched at his sides like he was fighting off a seizure of frustration. All around him, classmates stared. First in confusion. Then discomfort. Then, disgust. Some leaned back. Others whispered to each other, openly pointing. You could feel the shift. The moment the curtain dropped. Brady wasn't mysterious. Wasn't misunderstood. He was unhinged. I didn't say a word. Just watched from my seat, perfectly composed, enjoying the meltdown unfold like a live performance. Let him scream. Let him expose himself. Because nothing wrecks a parasite like light. After the last time I tapped into Brady's call, I'd started thinking, if his system required him to mimic me, then what happens when my identity stops being unique? What if I'm no longer just one person, but an aesthetic, a movement, a trend shared by many? If multiple people all started dressing like me, would his system still be able to single me out? Would it still recognize me as the singular target? Or would it get confused? Based on Brady's meltdown just now, I'd say I guessed right. He had barely begun to calm down after his public outburst when the next wave hit. More students trickled into the room, laughing and chatting, and wearing the exact same soccer jersey I had on. Brady's eyes darted wildly. His mouth parted. He clutched his hair, murmuring under his breath like a glitching machine. This doesn't make sense. Why is everyone? His eyes snapped to mine, sharp and suspicious. This is you. You did this. You planned this, didn't you? I tilted my head, blinking slowly. Planned what? I asked, voice smooth as glass. Are you saying you've been copying me all along for some reason? That hit him hard. His eyes flinched away from mine like they'd been burned. No, I mean. I thought you might be annoyed. You know, with everyone wearing the same thing. I was standing up for you. How thoughtful. I smiled. But it's really fine. I don't mind at all. That last line, casual, dismissive, warm on the surface, landed like a hammer. Brady's throat worked as he swallowed back whatever excuse he'd been building. It didn't matter. He couldn't breathe. Because his entire premise was collapsing, and I was watching every fracture in real time. After that day, no matter what outfit Brady tried to suggest I wear, someone else would show up wearing it too. Every single time. He couldn't figure out how or why, but the effect was devastating. His solution? Buy more. Copy more. Harder. Faster. He started obsessing over every item I used, not just clothes, but everything. My water bottle, my keychain plush, bracelets, ear studs, even my shoes. And of course, I didn't make it easy. Every piece I used was luxury grade. Custom. Limited drop. Premium brands with premium price tags. And just when he managed to scrape together enough to buy something, I'd switch it up. New bracelet. New bag. New shoes. I didn't even have to do it often, just often enough. He was always one step behind. And the deeper he fell, the more it cost him. When his savings dried up, he turned to online loans. When the loans reached their limit, he called Ava. Again and again. One afternoon, I stepped into the restroom, and paused just inside the door. I wasn't alone. Behind the stall wall, I heard Ava's voice, low and strained. Brady, because of you, I pissed off Evan. I had to wire him $300,000 just to clean up the mess. That was everything I had. And then, out of nowhere, my funding got cut off. You keep calling me, begging for money, like I'm your personal ATM. I don't have any left. Can you please, for once, try getting a damn job? Brady let out a pathetic sigh, switching to his usual pouty tone. I am looking for part-time gigs, Ava. I swear. I'm trying to be independent. He paused, then added. But you don't get it. Evan's lifestyle, it's insane. Everything he wears, everything he owns, he changes it every few days. I just bought a new pair of sneakers, and then bam, he's on to the next brand. I have to keep up or I lose sync. It's not about ego, it's about the system. There it was again. That word. The system. Ava didn't reply right away. The silence between them was thick with exhaustion. I slipped out before they knew I'd heard anything. Not that it mattered. Because the more Brady obsessed, the more he broke himself trying to become me. The closer he was to losing everything. I'm out of options, Ava, Brady pleaded over the phone. You don't understand, I had to borrow money online just to buy his stuff. If I miss another payment, they'll start calling my family. You have to help me. There was a pause. Then his voice dropped to a whisper, oily and desperate. Look. Evan still has a soft spot for you, doesn't he? If you butter him up, make him happy, I know he'll give you money. Then you can pass it to me. Simple. Ava didn't answer right away. But eventually, she gave in. She started acting sweeter than ever. Sweeter than when we were actually together. She laughed at every joke, agreed with everything I said, even offered to carry my bag to class once. She was almost unrecognizable. But the moment she started circling around to ask for help, I played dumb. Every vague hint she dropped about needing money, I dodged effortlessly. I smiled. I changed the subject. I refused to give her the satisfaction of rejecting something I hadn't been asked for. Eventually, she broke. She pulled me aside, voice tight, patience gone. Evan, can you send me some money? I gave her a thoughtful look, then nodded. Sure. She blinked. I opened my phone and sent her $500. Then I patted her on the shoulder and said gently. I know how much you hate feeling like I'm throwing money at you. So really, be careful with it, okay? Use it wisely. Her face went rigid. A flush of shame and fury ran up her neck. Then, with a shaky breath, she transferred the money back. What am I, some beggar to you? She snapped. You think this is enough? You think I'm that cheap? I sighed, typing out a message without looking up. If that's how you see me, there's not much I can do. She stormed off, trembling with rage, but didn't say the one thing I knew she wanted to say. She didn't threaten to leave. Because she couldn't afford to. After that, Ava had no choice but to look for part-time work. And not long after, Brady got the same call. The system might have promised transformation. But real life was starting to collect. And it demanded payment. One evening, the three of us, Miles, Zane, and I, went out for barbecue. The smell of grilled meat filled the air. Our table was stacked with skewers, sizzling plates, cold beer. We were mid-laughter when I caught movement out of the corner of my eye. Brady. And Ava. They weren't eating. They were working. Aprons tied around their waists, trays in hand, clearing tables and serving dishes. Brady spotted us immediately. His eyes locked on the feast in front of us, and he stared, with a hunger that wasn't just about the food. Then, in his usual conniving tone, he said loud enough for nearby diners to hear. Evan, don't you think it's a little heartless? You're out here living the good life, eating like royalty, while your girlfriend is busting her ass serving tables to make ends meet? His voice dipped lower, but the volume still carried. She transferred you $300,000 to help you out, and you couldn't even lift a finger to take care of her? The way he said it, calculated, rehearsed, was perfect. To anyone who didn't know the truth, I was the villain. The selfish pretty boy. The moocher living off his girlfriend's hard-earned cash. And just like that, the tables around us began to stir. A group of middle-aged guys at the next table leaned over, nodding and muttering. "Damn, bro," one of them said with a mocking whistle. "Your girl's working her ass off and you're out here splurging? You gonna let her carry you like that?" Another joined in, shaking his head. "Man's out here ordering premium beef while his girlfriend's scrubbing tables. That's cold. Pay her back, dude. Be a man." "Some guys really got no shame," a third muttered. Brady sat back just a little, grinning. The kind of grin that said checkmate. He was soaking in it. The murmurs, the judgment, the dirty looks. He thought he'd nailed it, public humiliation, delivered perfectly. And then. Slap. The sound cracked through the air like a firecracker. Ava stood beside him, her hand still raised, her face burning red. She had just slapped Brady, right across the face. The slap landed so hard, the whole restaurant fell silent. For a few long seconds, no one moved. Not even Brady. He stood frozen, one hand cupping the red mark swelling across his cheek. Ava's voice rang out, sharp and steady, cutting through the tension like glass. "It's not like he said," she declared. "That $300,000? It wasn't a gift. It was money Evan spent on me over the years. I was just giving it back." She glanced at the surrounding tables, her tone growing louder. "And I'm not supporting him. I was one of the students his family sponsored. He's not a leech, he's the one who helped me." Gasps. Mutters. The tone of the crowd flipped in an instant. Those same middle-aged men who mocked me just minutes ago. Now they were staring daggers at Brady. Someone murmured, "What a scumbag." Another scoffed, "So he lied to all of us, just to trash the guy who helped them both?" Brady looked around, panic rising in his chest. He wasn't just embarrassed. He was exposed. His face twisted in disbelief. "Ava. I did that for you. I was trying to defend your dignity, and this is how you repay me? I hate you." He hurled his cleaning rag to the ground and stormed off, his apron flapping behind him. No one stopped him. No one looked away. Only Ava remained. She didn't chase him. Instead, she stepped forward. Then crouched beside me, still on one knee, chin tilted up toward my face. Her voice was quiet. Calculated. "Evan," she said, "consider this my act of loyalty. My way of proving I've picked a side." She forced a tired smile. "I know you never liked Brady. I've cut ties. That was my choice. Are you satisfied now?" I didn't answer immediately. Because while she was trying to reclaim her place at my side, trying to show fealty, trying to claw her way back, her appearance told another story entirely. Her eyes were sunken, ringed with dark circles. Her clothes were plain, worn, and creased. There was even a faint smell, sweat, cheap detergent, maybe worse. She had left my family's sponsorship. She had lost my backing. She had been cut off from Brady's toxic dependence on her bank account. And now? She was unraveling. 1 week into a life without easy money, and she was breaking. I didn't let Ava off the hook. "Not enough," I said calmly. "I want to know why. Why does Brady keep mimicking me, again and again? Even when he clearly can't afford it, he keeps buying the same stuff. What's really going on?" She hesitated, watching me closely. "If I tell you," she asked slowly, "what do I get in return?" I gave her a noncommittal shrug. "Depends on how valuable the info is." That was enough to make her think. And eventually, she leaned in, eyes flicking from side to side, then whispered something into my ear. Meanwhile, far down the block, Brady had stopped running. He stood at the edge of the sidewalk, panting, head tilted back, waiting. He kept glancing over his shoulder, expecting to see Ava chasing after him. But no one came. Seconds dragged into minutes. Still nothing. His jaw clenched. And with a stiff breath, he turned around. When he finally got back to the barbecue place, what he saw stopped him cold. Ava. Leaning close. Face to face with me. She was whispering something. My expression unreadable. Brady froze. Panic lit up in his chest. What if Ava had told me about the system? What if she'd exposed everything? He stepped forward, voice cracking as he yelled. What the hell are you doing? He stormed over and grabbed Ava by the arm, yanking her aside. Their voices rose fast, shouting, accusations, rage. The argument blew up in front of half the restaurant. And when it ended, Ava walked away first. Brady stood there alone. Ashamed. Furious. Abandoned. After that night, he changed. He started watching me closer. Following my every move. Trying to get ahead of whatever I did next. One morning, as I got dressed, he leaned against the dorm doorway, eyes narrowed. Where you off to, Evan? Dressed all mysterious today. You got a hot date or something? I smiled faintly as I fixed my collar. Yeah. Ava's taking me out. Said we're doing Michelin tonight. Then I left, slowly, just long enough for him to process it. I knew what would come next. Sure enough, a rideshare pulled up half a block down. Brady ducked into the back seat, tracking my route like a little shadow. By the time I arrived at the restaurant, I spotted him outside, trying to be inconspicuous, huddled by the planter, watching the entrance with his phone half raised. I chuckled to myself and walked right in. Not 5 minutes later, Ava arrived, hair done, dress sleek. Brady, from across the street, turned to stone. His face fell. This time, though, he stayed where he was. He didn't storm in. Didn't confront us. Didn't break the illusion. But his eyes? They didn't stop burning. From that day on, Brady became our permanent shadow. Every time Ava and I were together, lunch, class, even walking across campus, he was there. Trailing behind us. Pretending it was a coincidence. By the 10th time I spotted him lingering just a few steps back, I decided to give him something to listen to. In the campus restroom, I casually pulled out my phone and raised my voice just enough to carry over the tile walls. Yeah, it's no big deal. Just $2 million. Ava wants it? Fine, let her have it. Pause. She already told me Brady's secret, anyway. That alone was worth more. I let out a light laugh. Can you believe it? All this time, he's been plotting to replace me. That's what it's about, right? That's why he copies everything. He doesn't just want my style, he wants my life. I ended the call, then slowly reapplied my lip balm in the mirror, watching the reflection. A stall door opened behind me. Brady stepped out, his face twisted in pure rage. He kicked over a trash can, the metal echoing across the tile. Filthy traitors, he hissed. You're all disgusting. He stormed out, yelling behind him. You just wait. My plan won't fail. It can't fail. Later that night, I turned up the volume on the tiny listening device still planted in his room. Brady was pacing. Breathing hard. Whispering, at first. Then. System, my mimicry index is 0. 0. Can I still become Evan? Can I have his life? What if I make him disappear? What if he's just gone? A brief pause. Then the system responded, cold, sterile, mechanical. No. We mimic the target. We extract fortune via similarity. If the target ceases to exist, mimicry is impossible. Task fails. Brady's voice cracked. So that's it? I fail if he's gone. Then what happens to me? Self-destruction protocol. You will lose all acquired gains. System will transfer to a new host. Silence. Then a small, broken voice. You just leave me? After everything? Correct. I survive by adapting. You don't matter. Brady didn't respond. For a long while, there was just heavy breathing. Then a choked sob. Then silence. But I don't want to lose everything, Brady whispered, desperation rising in his voice. There has to be a way, can't you let me stay? The system answered without pause. No. Once the self-destruction protocol begins, there is no reversal. However, you may drag others down with you. That way, you won't be the only failure. Program initiation in 3 days. Prepare accordingly. Silence. And then. Laughter. Loud. Twisted. Unhinged. Brady's voice cracked as he shouted into the room. Fine. If I go down, they go down with me. None of them are getting out of this clean. The sound chilled me. I stood frozen for a beat, then moved fast. I had someone start watching Brady immediately. But even as I gave the order, I knew it wasn't enough. I needed him alone that day. No one else in the blast zone. I opened my phone, about to send a quiet warning to the group. But Brady beat me to it. A message popped into the class group me. Hey everyone, I know I've been kind of a mess lately. I just wanted to make it up to you all. 3 days from now, dinner's on me, top-tier restaurant. My treat. No excuses. He even tagged me directly. At Evan, you have to come. Wouldn't be the same without you. I forced a response through gritted teeth. Of course. I'll be there. On the night of the dinner, every step had been taken. Plainclothes officers were stationed throughout the restaurant. The exits were secured. All unrelated patrons had been subtly turned away under various pretexts. By the time Brady's car pulled up, the place looked eerily quiet. He stepped out, adjusting his collar, glancing around. This place is usually packed, he muttered. Why is it so dead tonight? The restaurant owner, face pale, hands trembling, still forced a smile. Ah, must be one of those off nights. Maybe everyone had last-minute plans. Brady shrugged, unconcerned. Whatever. More food for us. With a bright grin, he ushered the classmates into the private dining room like a gracious host. He didn't notice the tension. He didn't feel the shift. Because he still thought he was the one in control. I leaned in close to Brady, my breath barely touching his ear. System. He flinched. That one word was all it took. His eyes widened, then narrowed, suspicious and dark. But I didn't give him time to think. I walked ahead, leading him out toward the restaurant's front doors like I had something to confess. He followed. Ava was already waiting outside, exactly where I told her to be. Brady stepped into the open and eyed us both warily. You said you wanted to talk, he muttered. So talk. His gaze on me was chilling. Like he wasn't looking at a person, just a walking corpse. I checked the time. We had minutes. The others would be gone by now, just as planned. I gave him a mild look, like I wasn't trying to provoke anything. Just curious. Tell me, Brady. Why are you so desperate to take my life? You always said you hated people like me. Born lucky. Born into money. So why work so hard to be me? That hit a nerve. His jaw twitched, his lips tight with humiliation. Don't twist it, he snapped. I just wanted a fair shot. I wanted what you had. I deserved it. He was shaking now, rage and shame colliding. I'm not worse than you. I'm not. I've been through more. I've fought harder. But you're still not me, I said flatly. Not even close. I pointed to Ava. Even she left you. Even she chose to stand by me. Brady's breathing turned ragged. His shoulders rising and falling too fast. His voice dropped into something far too calm. Too rehearsed. You know, Evan. I was going to be merciful. Thought we'd all go down together. A big send-off. Then he smiled. That twisted, broken smile. But if you're gonna walk right into the fire, that's on you. Ava stepped back. Brady, what does that mean? He didn't look at her. He didn't need to. He raised his voice and called into the air like he was speaking to something only he could see. Initiate self-destruction protocol. And then, he looked right at us, eyes alight with madness. You're coming to hell with me. But just as he shouted the command, his expression twisted in confusion. His system had delayed. Or maybe, sensed something was off. Too late. I shoved him hard, he stumbled backward. And vanished. He fell straight into the gaping hole hidden behind him, the one I'd spent weeks preparing. But fate has a dark sense of humor. Ava wasn't so lucky. Brady's hand shot out, grabbing her wrist mid-fall, dragging her with him into the abyss. No! I screamed, reaching too late. Then. Boom! The world cracked open behind me. An explosion roared like a demon awakened beneath the earth. Heat surged up my back as I ran for my life, lungs burning, limbs flailing. I dove forward, the shockwave lifting me off my feet. I hit the ground hard, choking on ash and smoke. When I looked back, a fiery bloom had swallowed the whole hole, the flames dancing high but confined to the pit. Containment successful. I laid there, trembling, face pressed against dirt, hands scraped raw, but alive. The trap worked. Footsteps rushed toward me. Someone grabbed my arm. Then another. My classmates pulled me up, cheering. Evan, you saved us. Dude, we owe you our lives. Brady would have killed everyone. He was insane. Absolutely evil. Their words blurred into noise, fading into static. All I could hear was the echo of my own heart, pounding like a drum. I'd survived. More than that, I'd won. The nightmare of being drained, copied, replaced, was over. The fate I'd suffered in my past life had been erased. My life was finally mine again. Ava survived. Barely. But she'd never walk again. Her spine was shattered. The doctors said she'd spend the rest of her life in a hospital bed. I went to visit her once. She stared out the window, her voice a breathless murmur. I never told anyone his secret. I gave him money. I helped him. So why would he still drag me into hell with him? I remembered that night vividly. How I leaned in, asking her to spill Brady's truth. How she whispered back something vague. Brady's just obsessed with you. It's vanity, that's all. She never gave the system away. That's why it never triggered a breach warning. That's why it never knew someone had come so close. But Brady believed what he overheard in the restroom. One planted phone call, one ambiguous line. And he unraveled. You were just unlucky, I said quietly, arranging the bouquet of lilies I brought. I stood, brushed off my coat. We're over, Ava. I hope you think of Brady often from that bed. She reached for my hand, eyes wet with desperation. But the door clicked shut behind me. I took a deep breath. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, the air tasted like freedom. I was alive. I was whole. And my life was mine. But just as I stepped into the sunlight, a mechanical voice echoed in my ear. Flat. Inhuman. Evan, your classmate George receives a $1 million monthly allowance. He's wealthier than you. Would you like to become him instead? I froze. Then smirked. Get lost.